Yo, what's going on, buddy? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about Bronny James Jr. and a little bit of a question that kind of came out from a lot of NBA analysts. Everybody would talk about, oh, is he going to get drafted? He's probably going to be a second-round pick. At first, we were talking about, is he even going to get drafted? Then the question started becoming, could he be drafted and possibly being maybe a first-round pick? Then everybody kind of concluded, yep, he's a second-round pick. Now there's like this whole narrative going around saying, is he even going to be a star player in the league? Because as we know, he's the son for if you've been living under a rock, he's the son of LeBron James, probably the second greatest player to ever live in the sport of basketball. And something I want to point out to all of you is, who says Bronny James can't just be a very good role player in the NBA? Now I realize you're gonna say, role player? What the fuck are you talking about? LeBron James' son is gonna be a role player? Fuck no. But I ask you the question, why not? Do you know how many great players in the NBA have had pretty good careers, made a lot of money, had the stats, won some championships by being role players? And hell, even in today's age, there's players that maybe in 10 years we won't remember their faces or their names, but the way they're playing now, they're just excelling at their role, whether it be just 3-and-D, whether it just be a great defensive player, getting rebounds, spot-up shooter, three-point game. Maybe sometimes you average 5 points a game, other times you average 25 points a game. And what I wanted to do in this video is kind of talk about why Bronny James could possibly go towards that trajectory in his career and just focus on being a role player and why it could actually work for him in the best interest. So without further ado, I'm going to stop rambling and I'm going to get straight into this. So if you're going to enjoy, as always, make sure you go and drop a like on this video. Be very much appreciated to do so. But without further ado, let's get into it. Now, there's two little bits of article or information I want to talk about. First up is this article here, which Bronny James is actually talking about in an interview during the NBA Combine, saying that he's just trying to get to the league. This article is going to be linked in the description below, so if you want to go check it out for yourself, feel free to do so. And also, there's this article here that kind of talks about all his Combine stats and everything. This will also be linked in the description below, so if you want to go check out all this stuff for yourself, feel free. But first up, like I said, he was kind of being questioned. Everybody, whenever you're at the NBA Combine, no matter what sport or league you're in, NBA Combine, NFL Combine, you're going to be asked questions. You're going to be asked a lot of different questions from a lot of different reporters, different networks, all that sorts of stuff. And some of the questions, as you can see here, a lot of them were kind of being asked about, can you live up to the hype? Can you live up to being being the son of your father? You have a lot of pressure on your shoulders. Are you going to be able to live up to the hype? And other questions were basically saying this one here of, are you excited to possibly be able to play with your father in the league? And he kind of just said, I would just be happy to getting into, or says here, quote, I would be happy just getting to the league instead of me thinking about playing with my dad. And then it goes on to say, quote, that's not my mindset or not at all. I'm just trying to put in the work and see where it takes me from there, quote. And I like that about him. Just focus on yourself. Just do your own thing. So far, he's doing good. That's the thing. He's just focusing on himself, focusing on his game. He's not worrying about the media and like the narratives they're going to spread about, can Bronny James live up to LeBron James' hype? Will Bronny James play with his father in the NBA? Now, I was talking about how, could he just live up to being a solid role player? Right here, it says here, he also sat down some comparisons lead to initiators of offense around the NBA. Instead, compared his game to players such as Boston Celtics' Drew Holiday and Derek White, or of the likes of Sacramento Kings' Davion Mitchell, for all the way they influenced the game, winning by excelling in their roles. And I'm not gonna lie, before I even read this article, I was thinking whenever I saw him kind of talk about just being a role player, I was like, well, one that comes to mind is Derek White. And when I read it, I saw Derek White, I was like, thank you, Lord, this man understands it. Because for those of you who have not watched the Boston Celtics in the playoffs, if you watch Derek White, even in the regular season, for this year and even last year, Derek White has been probably the most underrated player for the Boston Celtics. Like, sure, you have Jason Tatum, you got Jaylen Brown, but Derek White, any given night, can go out there and give you 15, 20 points, a solid 4 assists, maybe 3-4 rebounds. He can get a steal, maybe a block in there. And his defense, oh my God, his defense this year in 2024 going against the Miami Heat. I realize the Miami Heat don't have much shooters, and even the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Cavs don't really have much shooters as well. But the way Derek White was playing out there, his defense was like just straight up lockdown defense. And with him doing the lockdown defense, he had some spot up threes. He was able to drive to the rack, get some floaters, some layups. He was able to just play hard-nosed ball. He did everything right. And if Bronny James can translate his game into just being like that, rather than being the guy that when fourth quarter, 30 seconds to go, game-winning shot, give me the ball, let me go ISO, like LeBron James usually does, Bronny could be the guy that's over in the corner, and whenever the star player drives and they get 4 guys collapsing on him, the star player can kick it to Bronny, and Bronny can make that game-winning shot from the corner. Now, real quick, I kind of want to talk about Bronny James' measurements and his statistics that he kind of performed in the combine, and also just how he did at the combine, just so we kind of have an idea of what kind of player he could possibly be. When you look at his height, he's actually 6'1.5", a little bit shorter than what he was listed at USC. I think at USC he was listed like 6'3", 6'4", I think is what he was. He's also at 210 pounds, which is actually surprising. I think the people said he was at like 190 pounds whenever he was at USC, so he put on a lot of weight, which is good because for the NBA you gotta have some muscle to you. You gotta have some beef to you if you're gonna be able to take those blows in the NBA. Next up, he had a 40.5-inch max vertical at the NBA draft combine, which is actually fourth amongst all the participants, which is actually good because for him being only 6'1", he had the fourth highest max vertical. Kind of shows that if he needs to get up there and he needs to dunk on somebody, he's capable of it. If you're curious, max or his standing vertical was 32 inches, so he can touch the rim with ease. Is pretty much what that's saying. Coming back here, as you can see by where my mouse is, he did it like a shooting drill. He kind of like some of the players and some of the guys at the participants at the combine, they did like a little shooting drill, kind of going back and forth. If you haven't seen it, there's a clip on Twitter, you can easily find it. But basically, it was like just kind of going from the corner to wing, top of the key, going down for the free throw line, just kind of bouncing around, making a bunch of different shots. And it says here he actually went 19 of 25 for his shots from 3 and recording which was actually pretty damn good, I'm not gonna lie. Then during the combine, they had a scrimmage game. He had a pretty good showing. It says here he went 2 of 8 for shooting, though, grabbing 4 rebounds in 19 minutes of play. So he did pretty good. Like, he did what he needed to do. Like I said, role player, people, role player. And just in case he's not gonna be a role player, and I might be eating these words, and he actually becomes a star player, a lot of you were saying, well, he's not going to be a first-round pick. He's going to be a second-round pick. He has no chance of being a star player. He's going to be a bum. He's going to be a bust. Have you people been living under a rock? Do you know how many second-round picks have been, like, great players in the NBA? I have this list here. Top 10. Chris Middleton, NBA champion. He's right-hand man to Giannis Antetokounmpo on the Bucks. This man is a walking bucket. As you can see here, about 17 points during the playoff runs with the Bucks won the championship. He was getting, what, 20, 25 points a game? He was doing everything out there when if Giannis was up here, Middleton was able to kind of hold the ship and give him the extra boost. When Giannis was having a bad day, Middleton almost like elevated the game even more and was able to help out Giannis to help them get to that title. Marc Gasol, very underrated player. He had a very good career, and he was a second-round pick. Some of you might not realize this, but Draymond Green was a second-round pick. Now, some people might try to argue and say, well, if he wasn't on the Warriors and he didn't have Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, he probably would have won no titles. He would have went nowhere. Agree to disagree. But here's the thing. Draymond Green was an enforcer on that team. He got buckets. He got points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. He did everything. He's a 4-time champion, people. You can't take it away from him. Dennis Rodman was a second-round pick. I didn't even know this, and he's a Hall of Famer. Manu Ginobili, he was a second-round pick. This man's probably, I think he has a number retired with the Spurs. He's a Hall of Famer. He was there with the runs with Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, and all those guys. And at the pace his career is going, obviously, Nikola Jokic, probably the best second-round pick of all time, as it says. Now, obviously, the reason why Jokic was not a first-round pick and not being like a super high projected pick whenever he was drafted, kind of the way he plays, you see the way he plays nowadays, he just doesn't look like he should be a good player, but for some reason he still can get those points. But let me wrap it up by kind of saying this. When it comes to Bronny James, he can have a good career. I said it already. He can have a very good career by just being a role player, going out there, giving you about 10, 15 points. Even if you only get like 8, I'm telling you people, 10 points, 5 assists, maybe a couple rebounds, that can give you a good-ass career along the lines. Because on the stat sheet, if he can go out there and if he can shoot 4 of 9 for the game and like 2 threes, maybe a couple 2s, maybe you get some free throws in there, you get some assists, you get some rebounds, you have a solid night, you play some good defense, you block some shots, have a positive in your plus minus, you're going to look like a very good player on your team. You're going to be valuable to them. Now the big question is, where is he going to go? Is he going to go to the Lakers, like the rumors have been saying? He's going to go to the Lakers. They're going to draft him so he can play with LeBron James. Some rumors have been saying, could he possibly go to the Mavericks? Maybe he goes to the Cavs. I'm just spitting rumors here. But like I said, it all depends on where he goes and what team, like what kind of role the team asks him to do. I just feel like if a team drafts him and they think, hey, you're LeBron James' son, go be LeBron James, he's being set up to fail. If a team drafts him and they just put him on the bench and never let him play, like, why'd you even draft him? But if a team drafts him and just starting out in the beginning of the season, 5 minutes a game, maybe 8 minutes a game, just start him out slow, see if he can get a pocket corner 3, maybe a top of the key 3, maybe see if he can drive to the rack, get a layup, just see if he can play some defense, see what he can do, and then just kind of go from there. I really do think he could be a solid player in the NBA. But other than that, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did go and enjoy today's video. If you did enjoy, as always, make sure you go and drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. If you want to watch the entirety of today's video, thank you very much. And like I said, if you have a different opinion, do you think he's going to be a role player? Bronny James will be a role player or not a role player? Do you think he has the potential to be a star? I don't think so. If you disagree with me and you think he is going to be a star, let me know. And whatever your opinion may be, whenever it comes to if he's going to be a great player or just get to the NBA and play in the NBA, or do you think he's going to be a bust? Whatever opinion may be, leave your complete opinion down in the comment section down below. Be more welcome to talk about with you guys. If you're a fan of the content that I do poster and you want to go and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. And do not forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified second I post. But without further ado, this has been Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.